Christmas time's coming, Christmas time's coming, Christmas time's coming, and I know I'm going home. Snowflakes.
Well, good morning, and welcome once again to the old KOHI Garden Spot. I'm Master Gardener Darryl Boom here with Chip Bubl out of the Oregon State University Extension Service right here in Columbia County. Chip, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, Darryl. How are you today?
I am very well, as you could tell by the theme song. Christmas time's a coming, and we're doing our traditional gardener wish list, and I got a copy by email, and I'm pretty excited because at the end you've got some kind of high-tech stuff. So,
well, we'll see.
Well, relatively speaking, I guess in the eye of the beholder. But let's get going on it. So, we're going to put together some ideas for our listeners that would make that gardener in your life a happy person. So let's get started.
Well, okay. I mean, I'll take a few and then you take a few.
Okay.
So nice gardening gloves. There's a bunch of new gloves out there that are both flexible but have some ability to stave off rose thorns or blackberry thorns or things like that, or to some degree anyway. So, or nice fitting leather gloves for working in the garden, that are functional and sturdy. Those are always good. Those are always a nice present. Just know the person's hand size. That's important for that. And then in terms of working in the garden, as we all are getting older, once you get to a certain age, knee pads and knee benches are things that really do help make some of that close weeding work or transplanting work or things like that much less of a pain. So those are useful things as well. And then I'll list sort of a third one here, and that's a well-made spading fork or shovel. I like spading forks a lot. They're very useful, and if they're built strong, they'll last for 30 or 40 or 50 years if you take care of them. So that's a gift that can be remembered for a long time, really, in somebody's garden shed or garage.
Yep. Going on with your list, you have a note here on cast aluminum hand tools. I really like well-designed hand tools. They're like a good set of tuna clippers. I'm sure we talk about that later, but like a Felco, a really good brand, and they last forever. You take care of them, and that's also true of some really good hand tools. You've got some other items here. This is a pretty aggressive, but if somebody is really wants to get head started and everything, a greenhouse or a cold frame, and they can be homemade, would be a really a nice idea for that gardener that's serious about what he is doing. The other thing you can do is, if you're not quite sure, is you can always get a good gift certificate from a feed and seed stores or garden centers at your local store, or a gift certificate to fruit and berry company like Rain Tree Nursery or One Green World to get that gardener in your life off to a good start.
Yeah. Let me break in a little bit, too, on this gift certificate to fruit or berry plant companies, basically is what these are. Rain Tree Nursery and One Green World specialize in fruits and fruit varieties that are adaptable to this part of the United States. So they're sort of Western Oregon, west of the Cascades, or Western Washington, west of the Cascades. And so excellent company. They've got a great online catalogs, both of them, and they're well worth looking at. So a gift certificate from them to give to a gardener that might be interested in some of those things, and allow them to look through the catalog and make some choices, I think is a good thing. So going on with some other things, soil thermometers are really useful for deciding when to plant some of our vegetable seeds. Some of them are quite sensitive to coolness or heat, and so knowing the right temperature, which is easy to get that information, and then making sure that the soil is the right temperatures to plant is really useful. And then I like soil moisture meters. I've got one that I've now had for 30 years or so. I think I got it at Columbia Electric, actually, that had a 12-inch probe, and I use it a lot for container plants. When we repot them, it takes a while to get to know what their moisture cycle is, and so I use those, and I use them in the garden occasionally to see what is the soil moisture as we get further down in the soil. So those are some useful things. So.
And One more thing, Chip, before we're heading for a break, but before we go there, you had talked about knee pads. Another good thing is some sort of a garden stool to go along with knee pads, so you don't have to spend your time bending over to take care of that and to do your gardening chores. And also consider building raised beds for that gardener in your life, and which really makes life easy.
Yeah. That's a great idea, Darryl. Thanks.
Chip, let's continue this, but first, this message from Columbia Electric Feed and Seed.